Good morning, and thank you for joining us for another conversation of Coffee with Tom and Joanne. I'm in Toronto.
And I'm Tom Matthews. And today, Joanne and I are going to be discussing writing offers on great deals, protecting your future. So this is really geared towards buyers. And what we're talking about is that we are not in an environment where you should be stretching or compromising.
Right.
And that may mean that it's going to take a little bit longer to get that perfect property. But because of the climate we're in, we want our buyers to write great deals. So Joanne, what's an example of not compromising?
So, not compromising is probably one of the most important things when you're searching for real estate. And we all understand that we have needs, right? Our family has needs. We personally have needs. And those needs can be based on location or size or condition. But the most important thing in not compromising is to identify what is reasonable to obtain in your price range. And by looking at homes, the only way you're going to find out what your dollar gets you is to get out there and see what's in the market. But not compromising on, if you find a home that's really great and it's 2 bedrooms, but you're thinking about expanding your family and not having that 3rd bedroom for a guest is a problem, or not making the compromise where you're going to work from home and not having the space for it, or needing to create the space is another option, but sometimes that's not there. So we don't want our buyers to compromise on things that they need, okay? Compromising on things that you want is totally fine, but things that you need should be found in the home that you purchase. So if you work from home, if you have live-in help, if you have family members who come, for extended periods of time, those are really important parts of your lifestyle that we don't feel you should compromise on. So you need space for more people. You need a space for working from home. If you homeschool your children, you need a classroom space. There are so many things that are important to each and every buyer. And it's so critical that we identify upfront what are these things that you need in a property, and make sure that we don't compromise on those, because once you start compromising on the things that you need, you will inevitably need to move sooner than maybe you want to.
Right. And the challenge with moving sooner is that if we are indeed in a market that may start to trend, where prices might start to come down, if you put yourself in a position where you might need to sell and you're a low down payment buyer, say you're under 20% down, so you put, just like hypothetically, you put 5% down, and in 18 months you compromised and you find that that 2-bedroom house isn't going to work, and now the market's down just a modest 7%, you now have to bring cash to the table to sell. So that's why Joanne and I spend a lot of time having buyers do a needs wants list, having them watch our video on all the steps it takes to buy your first home, while we take them through the buyer consultation, and really make sure that we're buying a house that in the event the market shifts, you have the ability to kind of ride that shift out in the property. Because truthfully, the only time what you pay for a house matters is when you buy it and when you sell it. Right. Other than that, it doesn't matter. If like we sold one of our good friends a house years ago for, like, it was a condo for like 250 grand. And by the trough of the 08 market, it was worth like 150. And the client's like, you sold me a lemon. And Joanne and I were like, don't worry about it. You're renting it. You've moved on. You're getting cash flow. It's covering itself. And we sold it years later for like 350. So they ended up having cash flow for years and made money on it. But, that's an important consideration. When we were buying the property, we said, if your life circumstances change, this property is in a location where it would be a great rental property. So we had already pre-thought about life changes when looking at that property. That's part of the kind of value add that we offer as buyer agents, is giving people that advice so that we can help them really make a good decision, right? I think the other thing that's really important with writing a good offer is knowing your financial history and where you are as a earner, basically. Because I have seen too often where people maybe they're two school teachers and they decide they really want to buy now and they want it so bad that they take an adjustable rate mortgage. And that may not be the best product in an environment like this where the prices have potential to go down. So, that's part of the compromises is we want to make sure you're not making a lifestyle compromise or a financial compromise. But Joanne, you wanted to add something. Go ahead.
Wanted to is being focused on the value range of the property is another important part about writing great offers, because sometimes you can't come to terms with the seller and they may feel that their property is worth more than what you feel it's worth. And that's okay.
Yeah.
And what we want people to stay focused on is writing great deals that make sense in this market for the time period that we're in, right? So what is this house worth today? Not what it was worth 6 months ago, and not what it's worth 6 months from now. We want to do fair transactions at fair market value. And part of the process is Tom and I preparing market analysis for each buyer when they're interested in a home to come up with a value range of where we think this home might sell. And it's important for you as a buyer to not compromise on what the value of the home is, because ultimately you're gonna want to pay what it's worth today. And if you can't stay focused on that, you may overpay for a property. And overpaying for a property is okay as long as your eyes are open. But we feel it's critical for our buyers to be writing great offers right now and staying within the parameters of the market. Because in a rising interest rate environment, we may see that prices have leveled off. And if prices have leveled off, you don't want to be that buyer who shoots the moon and goes at the way beyond the top of the price range of what the market parameters say, unless you have the finances to do so and are comfortable with it. Because financially, that doesn't make sense.
Right.
We want people to make really smart financial decisions that are good for their future and that will bring them, complete their goals of what they need right now. Also buying a property that's suitable for them for the long term if they need to be there for a long time.
No, I think that's great advice, Joanne. And I think this is another really great series here with the Coffee with Tom and Joanne. So I want to thank everyone for watching today. My name is Tom Matthews.
And I'm Joanne Toronto. Cheers.